Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do newsprint nails, and this is certainly not a technique I came up with. I've seen it before, and I just thought I would show you my version of it so that if you haven't seen it before, you'll know how to do them. And it's a really simple technique, so I'm going to show you that now. First I'm going to tell you what I have on this nail right now is 2 coats of this OPI color. It's called Skull and Gloss Bones. This was that Pirates of the Caribbean collection. And it's sort of a light gray, like almost a sandy gray. But any kind of light gray or white or whatever will do. And then you just need a piece of newsprint, whatever, you know, you can use comics or whatever. This is just some words. They don't really have meaning. I just tore it out of the only newspaper thing I could find. And then what you're going to need is a little dish with some rubbing alcohol in it. And what you're going to do, you're going to dip the nail into the alcohol for about 10 seconds. So we're going to 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Shake off any excess there. And then I'm just going to take the newsprint and I'm going to apply that to the part of the nail that I want the newsprint to show. Okay, I'm going to press that right onto the nail. Excuse my unpainted finger. I started doing this tutorial and then I totally ruined the manicure I did already. So I have to redo that finger. Anyway, you're going to press the newsprint down and then you can slowly remove it and you'll be left with your words. I didn't press up high enough. I actually was going to block this off with some tape, but we're going to just go ahead and leave it the way it is because we can draw in the angle that I am looking for. So see how easy that is? You can do newsprint. I mean, and you could do it across the whole nail, whatever makes you happy. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of bedazzle this, so to speak, using some silver polish. And I'm using this sort of foily silver from Sally Hansen Extreme Wear. This one is called Celeb City. And what I'm going to do is just drop some polish on a stamping plate or a tile or whatever you have handy. And using a dotting tool, I'm going to go in and I am going to create some dots. And what I want to do is have an angle dividing the 2 halves of the nail, the newsprint side and the non-newsprint side. Okay, so I am going to just, by creating dots, okay, so let me, this is not focusing properly. Let me refocus this. Okay, is that like so much better or what? Okay, so now using that dotting tool, I'm going to go ahead and create more rows of dots by sort of alternating the pattern, going in between the space of the other dot, the other row of dots. So the way to make good polka dots is just always go in between spaces of the previous row, trying to get them with sort of equal distance. And using this type of foily silver polish is a great way of getting that sparkle without actually having glitter that's hard to remove later. Okay, so I've got those silver dots. And then just to complete that line between the newsprint and the silver, I'm going to go back in with a more like a flatter, darker gray. This is the color I have. It's an Essence polish, which I got at Ulta. This one is called Movie Star, and it's just sort of a darker gray. I'll just drop a little bit of that on my tile. And all I'm going to do is, taking the original line of silver dots that divided the 2 halves, I'm going to put, oops, rip that off. I'm going to put some dots just in between the spaces between silver, so it'll alternate between silver and gray. And I'm only going to do that into that center line just so that it has a clearer dividing point, if that makes sense. Okay? And then it also sort of then matches the tone of the newsprint itself without overpowering it, because you could do it in black, but I think it would just make it really overpowering. In fact, I think I might go back over my silver dots with silver again, just so that this gray doesn't take over. Let me see here. Boop. Because a couple of those dots looked like they covered my silver dots. Okay? So we're going to give these dots just a minute to dry, and then we're going to follow that up with a top coat. Okay, so now that that has had just a minute to dry, I'm going to follow that up now with some top coat. I'm going to use my Sèche Vite. And you're definitely going to want to use the top coat over any kind of newsprint nails because you don't want the newsprint to rub off. So I'm just going to take that and gently put some top coat over it. That'll help seal in the design and protect your newsprint. Okay? So there is your final design. I hope you guys like this one. It's kind of a fun way to use your newsprint. And that's it for this time. So I hope you like it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.